everyone. This is my group. They're going to be listening to my speech. Here we go. Okay. All right, I'm Stephanie Snowden. I'll be doing my speech 3. My specific purpose is to inform my audience about the key ideologies of Karl Marx and how his ideas challenged society during his time. The theories of Karl Marx were controversial. This is my central idea. The theories of Karl Marx were controversial because they criticized capitalism, highlighted class inequality, and called for a radical restructuring of society. Imagine predicting the collapse of an entire economic system. Instead of being praised, you are ignored, criticized, or even feared. Karl Marx developed his ideas centered around class struggle, economic inequality, and the belief that capitalism would eventually collapse and socialism would replace it. His theories focus heavily on how wealth and power are distributed in society and how the working class is affected by those systems. Because these ideas challenge both economic and social norms, many view them as extreme or unrealistic and chose to dismiss them. According to the New American, Marx was influenced by radical thinkers during his time at the University of Berlin, Bayes. Sources like the Phoenix Learning Group and other academic research help explain how his ideas developed and why they were controversial. Today, I will discuss Marx's key ideologies, why they were contentious and frequently disregarded, and his lasting impact on the world. To better understand why his ideas were rejected, it's important to first examine what he believed. What Karl Marx believed about society. Marx argued there was a problem with how society was structured. He saw a growing divide between the rich and the working class, where the wealthy held the power and the workers struggled to get by. He claimed that this inequality came from capitalism. Stated by the Phoenix Learning Group, Marx believed economic systems shaped everything in society. This included power, opportunities, and social status. For that reason, Marx believed conflict between the classes was unavoidable. He described this as a struggle between the bourgeoisie, who owned the means of production, and the proletariat, who worked for wages in order to survive. Phoenix Learning Group. Marx understood that industrialization played a major role in the system. While industrialization increased production, it also widened the gap between the rich and the poor, making inequality more visible. Instead of seeing capitalism as a permanent system, Marx believed that these conditions would eventually lead to something else. How those ideas led to communism. Marx predicted that capitalism would eventually collapse. He argued that it creates too much inequality and tension, and over time these problems would become unsustainable. As the divide between the rich and the poor continued to grow, Marx suggested that the working class would recognize their situation and push for a change. This would lead to a shift in society away from capitalism. According to Reflections on the Future of Capitalism, Marx argued that capitalism would not be able to sustain itself long-term because of its internal conflict and growing inequality. Chandra. From there, Marx encouraged that society should move to a system where there would be no class divisions and wealth would be shared equally. Although these ideas may seem logical within his theory, many people in the late 1800s strongly disagreed with them. Why Marx was controversial and dismissed. Marx's ideas were controversial because they directly challenged capitalism and existing social and economic systems. Many people feared that communism would eliminate private property and drastically change society. He also criticized religion, famously describing it as the opiate of the people, which made his ideas unpopular in religious communities. He didn't necessarily mean religion was bad. He meant it acted like a drug, comforting people and helping them cope with suffering instead of encouraging them to question or change their situation. He believed this could make people more accepting of inequality. Because of this, many people saw his ideas as offensive or threatening bias. Though Marx was dismissed during his lifetime, his ideas went on to have a major impact on the world. Impact and legacy. Although Marx was not widely accepted during his lifetime, his ideas gained influence in several countries. His theories were later used to shape political systems in several countries. Nations such as Russia, China, Vietnam, and Cuba implemented governments influenced by Marx's ideas, bias. However, these governments often applied his theories in ways that were very different from what Marx originally described. In many cases, they resulted in strict government control rather than the classless society Marx envisioned. As a result, his legacy remains highly debated. Some view his ideas as an important critique of inequality, while others argue that his theories were when put into practice, they led to negative outcomes. Even today, Marx's ideas continue to influence discussions about inequality, workers' rights, and economic systems. The theories of Karl Marx sparked intense debate because they propose a radical reimagining of society and challenge the foundations of economic and social order. While he was dismissed for his radical views and lack of success, his ideas later spread globally and empowered political systems. While he is seen as a revolutionary thinker, his ideas remain deeply debated. Some view them as a critique, while others see them as unrealistic or even harmful when put into practice. Ultimately, understanding Marx is not about agreeing with him. It's about recognizing how powerful ideas can shape the world for better or for worse, and how those ideas can have consequences when applied in real society. Thank you.